Hey, hello everyone, welcome to my channel Relationship Stories. In this video, we are going to give our judgment to the three real persons in this world for the wrongful actions done against their loved ones. But before that, I will give you the short one-liner of their actions. The first person just told his 6-year-old son that he is not the father and told him to find a new father. The second person just wants to ruin his son's life to seek revenge on his mother. The third person is a bit way more than all of these two guys. You all will be shocked after hearing his story. So without waiting, let's hear the story from their side. The first person is asking us, am I the devil for telling my former son, 5, that I am not his father? I was in a long-term relationship with Liz, 24 female, and we had a son together. I signed the voluntary acknowledgement of paternity. Even though we were not married, in December I discovered that Liz had been unfaithful during our relationship. So I took a paternity test which showed that I was not the biological father. Devastated by the revelation, I ended the relationship and we moved out of our apartment, and I took all of my belongings including gifts and I had given to Liz and even some of our son's things. Unfortunately, Liz sued me for child support shortly after that. When we went to court, I presented the DNA evidence to the judge, but since the 5-year period to rescind the VAP had passed, I was deemed the legal parent. The judge ordered me to pay child support and awarded me joint custody, but I refused to accept the decision and told the judge and Liz that I would not be a part of our son's life anymore. Although the judge tried to convince me to reconsider my decision and reminded me that it was not in our son's best interest, I remained firm. Liz also pleaded with me, telling me that I was the closest thing to your father our son had. But I was not interested. I live in Tennessee with my family, while Liz moved to Chicago and lives in an apartment complex. Recently, Liz has been calling me, begging me to get back together and even sending me recordings of our son asking where his dad is. After several weeks, I decided to have a video call with him. He is now 6 years old and I thought he was old enough to understand what I had to say. I told him that I was not his biological father and apologized, explaining that we would not see each other again and that his mom knew who his real father was. Unfortunately, he didn't take the news well, and Liz called me later, angry that he would not stop crying. Despite this, I just want to move on and focus on my own life. I don't hate our son, but he is a constant reminder of what Liz did, and I can't be involved in his life without dealing with her. While it may be traumatic for him, he needs to know the truth. Whether he accepts it or not is not my concern. And I doubt he will grow up to be a well-adjusted adult given the circumstances. In the end, I understand that my decision may make me feel like an devil, but I am ready to close this chapter and start a new one. My opinion is, I'm sorry, but you are the devil in this situation. I know you are hurt right now and you have been betrayed. However, the anger you feel should not be directed at the child. No, he is not old enough to understand that you are not his father. You were his father all his life. He just lost you, and what's more, he just got uprooted from his life. Please, sincerely think about your decisions. Go, see help if you need to. But even if it's not by blood, your kid needs you. Our friends said, you are the devil in this situation. Your anger towards your ex cheating on you is being aimed at an innocent child who cannot help who his biological parents are. The fact you can cut him out of your life the moment you found out the truth. Take all the possessions you had bought him away and tell him you are not his dad when he is so small, and that news would be extra overwhelming. Is very telling of your character. She may have cheated, but you have robbed the child of a father figure and given him lifelong emotional issues. It sounds like he is going to be better off without you in his life, but it didn't need to be that way. The second person is asking us, am I the devil for seeking custody of the kid I didn't want? A couple of years ago, while my wife and I were separated, I started seeing a girl from work, whom I will call Anne. I will admit I was not being honest with myself about my feelings for my wife, and I was using Yen. However, I told Yen that I loved her and talked about a future of marriage and children with her. Yan did tell me a friend that she was not on birth control because she had bad side effects in the past and that she was cycle tracking. I do believe it was a genuine mistake and not baby trapping, but Yan ended up getting pregnant. I got scared and told Yan that I didn't really love her, that I would not have anything to do with the baby, that I wanted to get back with my wife and suggested that Yan get an abortion. She got really emotional and I stopped replying. A day later, she apologized for the rude things she said initially and said that she didn't intend to get an abortion, but that she had the right to decide if she wants a child. She also said that she won't pursue child support or anything. I told her that I didn't want to tell my wife, but that I will try to think of a way to be involved. For a few weeks, I texted her asking how things were going, but I managed to work things out with my wife, so I blocked in on everything. A few months later, my wife caught wind of the relationship with Ian, but not the pregnancy, thank God, and made me text Ian a bunch of rude things about Ian's character and appearance to prove that it was really over. Ian never replied. Later, I found out she ended up getting with one of her longtime friends, and when the baby was 4 months old, they got married and he adopted the baby. Now the baby is 3 years old, and after having a first child with my wife, I changed my mind and I want to be involved with the baby. I contacted Anne and she said she did not think I had any parental rights at this point. They had not told the daughter she was adopted and they needed time to do so their way. But she had considered letting the daughter meet me when she was old enough to decide. But this is my child and I should be involved. I have made an appointment with a lawyer about getting partial custody. My opinion about this issue is, yes, you are the idiot for seeking custody of the child. You previously wanted nothing to do with it. You misled Anne and you used her, then abandoned her when she became pregnant. You even suggested she get an abortion. Your behavior was selfish and callous. And it is understandable that Anne moved on and found a partner who was willing to be father to her child. You should not try to disrupt the life that the child has known for the past 3 years by seeking custody. The child has a loving family with Anne and her husband, and it is not fair to them or the child, and suddenly it introduced you as a father figure. Instead of seeking custody, you should working on making amends with Anne and trying to establish your relationship with your child in a way that is respectful of the child's current family dynamic. Our friends said there is literally no step in this process where you are not the idiot. Every point you could make a decision, you made the most selfish one possible. You are an idiot and I think you really need to sit down with a therapist and talk about your decision making going forward. Right now you barge in and make demands and you are only going to add your estranged daughter to the list of people your bad decisions have harmed. You are the absolutely hateful person, Hopi. This little girl is loud and happy and you want to go and crash and destroy her world because you changed your mind. What will happen? Because your wife won't accept her, so you might see her off a dozen times, then nothing again, leaving her world broken? You selfish man, leave the little girl alone until she is old enough to decide whether to see you or not. The third person is asking us, am I the devil for not comforting my daughter after she got hurt? I know I sound like an idiot from the title, but let me explain some things. I, 30 male, am single dad to my 13-year-old daughter, female. Due to her health issues, my daughter has always dealt with a lot of joint pain, which is difficult to deal with at such a young age. We are currently watching my sister's high-energy golden retriever. This morning, my daughter was playing rough with the dog, and I warned her that it probably would not end well for her and that she would be in pain later. However, she ignored me and continued playing with the dog for over an hour. Later, my daughter was clearly in pain, but she did not complain about it. My mom came over to visit and noticed my daughter's discomfort. Typically, on difficult days, I tried to make my daughter feel better, but since she didn't tell me she was in pain, I didn't want to start comforting her if she was trying to act like everything was fine. I explained this to my mom, but she got upset and told me to grow up and stop being stubborn just because my daughter didn't listen to me. So, am I the idiot in this situation, guys? My opinion is, OP, you are the devil. She is entering her teen years and is both trying to get a tough grown up about her chronic pain and didn't want you to be able to say, I told you so. So, I think you should apologize. Don't say, I told you so, but also ask that when you tell her to stop playing rough with your dog, that she needs to listen. This was a crappy lesson for you both to learn. I'm sorry. Our friends said, you are the devil. And I speak from experience, pain is life and life is pain. I do things that I know I will regret later because sometimes it's worth it. You have no idea how much your daughter actually suffers and or being a cold jerk. Let her have what joy she can find and give comfort when you know that joy will have a price, idiot. Our friend too said, I see why you chose this path, but maybe instead of playing games with your child, you can just say, I know you are in pain. Please be more careful next time. You know, I care about you, just don't want you to overdo it. Then just give her whatever she needs to get better. Don't ask her because you know she will say no. Then go about your day. It's not worth watching your child suffer because she wants to be stubborn. You are the adult, act like it. You know when to step in even when she doesn't. Be a support. Don't be the idiot.